H4 on special whatever phone calls. And one of the fanciful callers said, "Sweetheart, I know you're in New York, and I know it's not easy where you woke up, but I want to say, like, we really like it where we are. And what if I said to you that," and this was a woman, by the way, because I wasn't allowed to speak to the women, but somehow one of them, they said they wanted to interview for caretaker or something. I'm like, right, okay. So now what? I was like, and this is one of my betrothed, this is one of his approved phone call people that I'm allowed to talk to. Speaking to the Bruce, by the way, and about his Bruzer and my betrothed. And he's like, yeah, I just want to see how she does speaking to you. I'm like, okay. So she's like, well, here's the thing. We've built something we really like, and we don't want to lose it. I'm like, uh-huh. And she's like, what if I told you I wanted to braid your hair? And I'm like, I don't really know, because he's supposed to, like, I don't know if he's going to like braids in my hair. I haven't spoke to him yet. He hasn't decided. And she's like, yeah, but what if I really want to braid? I'm like, I already gave you the answer. Did you not hear me? Are you like Linda and Lou? Do you not hear it the first time? I don't want my hair braided by you if he says he doesn't like braids. That's it. And then she was like, well, okay. She goes, but now, what if I didn't, by asking you that, with you walking around New York without any cover, as you so call it, in the ghetto of New York with no parents that know anything, what if I came up to you as a woman and said I wanted to braid your hair? Before you met Bruzer. And I'm like, no, I don't let strange women touch me. No, definitely not. I was like, Linda touches my hair because they told me that she's the place that I came from. But, I mean, I can't verify that. I don't remember. I was only a caterpillar size. Now a Soviet size 4. And she was like, right. But what if, like, when they speak to you, meaning like the mannequins or other brain dead around you, what if, like, they want to harm you? How do you ever know? And I go, I don't. I mean, I have to assume they're trying to harm me, but I mean, I want to believe whatever's coming out of their mouth is what they really mean. But how would I know if they're one of your special people who are saying things but twisting things, or if they're just one of the mannequin brain deads that was taught the wrong thing and twisting things and not meaning to twist things? It's just that that's what they were taught. I don't know. How am I supposed to know that? That's why I said it's not safe for me here, especially if we're resetting the mentality of the broken things. I mean, I already have broken things talking to me because that's what they learned, but that's because the other people were allowing the broken things to learn how to speak broken. And it's making a real mess of, like, the society. And she was like, I don't even know how to continue from there. And I'm like, okay, does that mean that our time is finished? Is it over? And she's like, no, by over, what do you... I'm like, I don't know. You said you have nothing further, or there's no whatever track left. I don't know, train wreck left. I don't know. And she's like, well, there seems there's to be a lot of train wrecks left still. And I'm like, okay, do you want to speak about that? Because that's kind of what I'm looking for, is where are we breaking tracks in causing wrecks in the future? I thought that we had spoken to the REX, like the Latin Rex, and we fixed the train wreck to being the W kind that the other lady caused before I got here. And she's like, right, the other lady. I'm going to have to get back to your Bruce on this. I have to think for a little bit. I'm like, okay. So then I was speaking to the Bruce, I guess, or Bruce's staff member, or whatever, who's trying to cover, I guess, is Pablo of the Nord. He's like our staff member that we share, I guess. And I was like, okay. And so he's like, now what if I tell you that, we'll call him Bruzer, because just whatever, or Bam Bam, whichever, from Flintstones, since you mentioned that in the future. What if I told you that he didn't really have such a great life either? That he, hypothetically, of course, was born to a society where his mom died with him coming out, and his dad, who claimed that he loved him, tried to save his wife before his son came out and may have traded his son's wife's life to save his own wife's life, which kind of backfired on him, which is now causing another problem of can't trust people because they thought that they already sold one life or traded one life to save another, and they're finding out they lost the life that they thought they were trying to save, and they don't know now. They're hearing that they never fixed they took your life, or they took the future wife, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I'm like, okay, I have to work through that one. Hold on a second. I was like, right, so you're saying that his father's just as untrustworthy as mine, but for like different reasons. Like mine just came misprogrammed by his father and set of circumstances with the trading first. And then, like, the oopsie was, he was Bruzer's father was trading with untrustworthy people. So I'm getting the short end of the stick, is what we say, right? And then he's gonna be, what? Are you going to take care of his father for doing that to him? He's like, well, his father's a very well-liked Bruce. And I'm like, right, okay, so then is he going to help rectify the situation and help my situation to get to his son, since he caused the shortage in the stick for us both? And he's like, oh, that's a very good question. I'm going to have to mark that down. And just like the other lady, I'm going to have to get back to you as your... Where we come from, where that movie Robin Hood comes from, in Bruce territory, you get what's called a quiver of arrows. Like there's multiple arrows in a quiver. You put it on your back and you walk with a lady through the woods. And if danger comes, he's like, you use your arrow to shoot out the bandit. I'm like, okay. He's like, well, apparently your Bruzer was built, designed, and delivered with the only quiver, a full set of arrows, to protect you and him. And now I am realizing that I am put in a very precarious situation because I am the one that knows that. And I also know his friend, his father, and all of his very untrustworthy friends, and now I'm wondering how I'm going to help the two of you out and stay alive all in the same. Being that Bruzer and you own, right, he's got quiver, all the arrows, right? All right, so what if I said that I could do something for the two of you with, like, if all else fails with Bruzer and his father, which of course I'll be silent witness to the whole thing, only one you're ever gonna have. I'm like, He's like, what if I have a conversation and an insurance plan of sorts with the one union that he'll be sitting over and making friends with his father's friends and trying to figure out the enemies of what the heck happened if things don't work out between you and the lady who wanted to braid your hair, and I see why you don't let women touch you, right? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to, this is always usually, I thought I was prepared for this, but I'm seeing, right? And he's like, right, okay, so if I, remain alive, would you mention out maybe in one of your future things, so I have proof that we had this conversation, your way and my way, and the way that you have so many records and so many possibilities of how you and Bruzer and the Quiver of Arrows, you were built and born with us to protect only the two of you, right? Okay. So, now, if you're somewhere in the future and you're all by yourself, what is it you're exactly asking? Like, be specific that you want Bruiser to do. And I'm like, I don't use the quiver of arrows to take out whatever he needs to in full force and quantity in order to come to me and get me out of the situation. Well, now, why do I have to wait till I'm an old lady for him to use all of his whole quiver? I thought that you're his advisor, and this was supposed to be a quick deal, and if he has the whole quiver, why does he have to wait to use it? He's like, well, right, that's a very good question. That all depends on how the whole, right, European plays out with, so many possibilities with where you were born. He's like, all right, you know what, when that, other lady, calls you back, I'm gonna do some thinking of my own. He's like, and then I'll, make sure that we conference with you again, and I'm just gonna have to step up and be your advisor, I guess, or a backup advisor, just in case, right? Pomegranate ivory. Alright, so, right, and so here we are, and, I think there's people somewhere that are close to him. They haven't called in ever since I was little. A lot of shit has been done to me, a lot, which they knew about going into this, and then they were frightened of one another, which, it's like, I'd be more frightened if you don't get me. Why the hell are you making this like 40s and old ladies an option after all these bad things happen to me? He's got the only quiver of arrows, hello?